The beginning of free agency is among us at the moment, and because of this, because there has been so much that has happened in the past, I think like 3 and a bit hours, I'm not going to have each player's kind of highlights on the screen. I'm just going to have my 2K in the background. I hope you guys don't mind with that, but that just means I can get these videos out a lot faster. There will probably most likely be multiple videos today, but we have got some huge news, so let's get into it. Now, the biggest story of free agency this season is Kevin Durant has signed a 4-year, $164 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, Brooklyn, there's other news for Brooklyn as well, but KD, it was expected that he was going to leave. We didn't know where. The New York Knicks were a good the expected location, or maybe he could have gone somewhere else, but the Brooklyn Nets have agreed to this deal, and also they have picked up Kyrie Irving on a 4-year, $141 million deal, with obviously pairing those two together. That is an incredible duo. I'm not sure if they're going to be better than Kyrie and LeBron, or Steph and Kevin Durant, but Kyrie and Kevin Durant signed on for 4 years each. It's a huge pickup by the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, the New York, it wasn't the New York team originally thought they was going to sign those two teams together, those two players together, but that is what has happened. Now, JJ Redick, who was a free agent after he hadn't had his contract extended by the Philadelphia 76ers, has agreed to a 2-year, $26.5 million deal to join the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans have probably got the best young core in the entire league in this next coming season, but they don't have that many shooters. They have great drivers, great mid-range shooters, but they don't have any good three-point shooters, and also not a lot of veterans at the moment. So this pickup by the New Orleans Pelicans is great to have that kind of shoot off the bench as well, and also have that veteran talent coming off the bench. Now, Kemba Walker has agreed to a $141 million 4-year max contract with the Boston Celtics. Now, Kyrie Irving obviously leaving to Brooklyn. The Boston Celtics needed a star point guard, and I think Kemba Walker is a great fit. He's a great leader. He's kind of led that Charlotte Hornets team for a few seasons. Obviously, they've kind of lacked a bit of talent there, but obviously Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, we've also got Gordon Hayward as well. Great players that are coming, great depth here at the Boston Celtics. So Kemba Walker will be able to help out that team, and he's signed on for the next 4 years. Now, great news for Derrick Rose. He has signed a 2-year, $15 million deal to play with the Detroit Pistons. Now, obviously, I mean, this doesn't really contribute much to the team. It's just great to see Derrick Rose still getting play time. I mean, he kind of struggled with the last few seasons to even get signed by a team, and now he signed a 2-year deal with Detroit. He'll be a great veteran off the bench. Now, Harrison Barnes was expected to leave the Sacramento Kings. He was a free agent after the last season. He was expected to sign elsewhere, but he has signed a 4-year, $85 million contract to stay with the Sacramento Kings. Now, a great kind of role player as well. Obviously, he played great for the Warriors back when we started our great run of championships, but obviously Sacramento is very, very blessed to be able to keep him on the team. Gerald Green is staying with the Houston Rockets on a 1-year deal. The numbers aren't certified yet, so I'm not sure how big the contract is, but a great guard for the Houston Rockets to pick up. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers have come out and said they are willing to extend Ben Simmons' contract. I think this would be a great thing to do. Obviously, Ben Simmons is an up-and-coming star in the league. If they can sign him, extend that contract a little bit further, that means they can sign him on for a little bit longer, and maybe even into his prime. I don't think he's hit his prime yet. He's only some would say his rookie season, but I think it's his 3rd season now. So he'll be in his prime in no time. Now, free agent Terrence Ross has agreed to a 4-year, $54 million deal to stay with the Orlando Magic. Now, he's a great kind of slasher, I guess, if you're talking 2K terms. He's a great kind of role player as well. He does what he's told, really, but signing on for 4 years is a great move by the Orlando Magic. Now, Orlando has also signed free agent al-farouq onto a 3-year, $29 million contract. Now, signing these two kind of great role players, but also they can kind of extend the bench, get a bit of depth going onto the bench. For the Orlando Magic, obviously they made the playoffs this year, but were a first round exit, unfortunately. I think they got eliminated by Toronto. Obviously, Toronto going on to win it all. Obviously, I mean, if they can get this kind of depth going onto their bench, especially with al-farouq Amino, was a great role player for the Portland Trailblazers last season. They can get that depth onto the bench. They could potentially go further in the playoffs. Now, Daniel House has agreed to a 3-year, $11 $7.1 million deal to stay with the Houston Rockets. Now, obviously, House is a young player. He isn't the greatest of players, but he does his thing. He does his role player. He would be great to kind of back up and learn from CP3, James Harden, players like that. Also, Gerald Green coming off the bench as well. He can kind of learn from players like that. So, the Houston Rockets are looking forward to the rest of his career. They've signed him on for a 3-year deal to see how he goes. Now, Bojan Bogdanovic has agreed to a 4-year, $73 million deal with the Utah Jazz. A great shooter, obviously from Indiana last season. Now, the Utah Jazz are one of the kind of the up-and-coming kind of shooting teams. They got Joe Ingles starting at the moment, but I'm sure they'll put Bojan, I think his pronunciation is. I think they'll probably put him in the starting lineup, but a great pickup by the Utah Jazz. Now, the Indiana Pacers are trading a first round and 2 future second round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks in order to pick up Malcolm Brogdon. Now, Malcolm, it was certain that the Milwaukee Bucks weren't going to extend his contract or offer him a new contract. So obviously, if he goes to Indiana, he'll be able to kind of replace that shooting role that Bojan Bogdanovic had. But obviously, Milwaukee kind of they're not in a rebuild, but they're kind of trying to find pieces in order to kind of boost their chance of making it further in the playoffs. And obviously, 3 future picks will assist them in that search. Now, not huge news, but Jeremy Lamb has agreed to a free agent deal with the Indiana Pacers. He obviously played for Charlotte last season. Not a huge pickup. The details aren't certain yet, but he has been signed with the Indiana Pacers. Thomas Bryant has agreed to a 3-year, $25 million deal to the return to the Washington Wizards. Now, he had quite a good season. He showed kind of sparks of being kind of a great player for the Washington Wizards, and obviously he'll get a bit more court time. Obviously, without the assistance of John Wall next season, the Washington Wizards will look to their younger fellas to help try build them up and build around the young core. Tobias Harris has agreed to a 5-year, $180 million contract to return to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, it was expected during free agency he was going to talk to a Western Conference team and then an Eastern Conference team, and no one really knew what he was doing. He was expected to go to Utah at some point, but no, he has returned to the Philadelphia 76ers on this $180 million contract. Free agent Rodney Hood has agreed to a 2-year, $16 million contract to return to the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, he had a great role. I think it was in the Oklahoma City series, I'm not sure, where he hit that really clutch 3 in that game. I think it was like the game 7. I'm not sure what game it was, but he is a great role player. He does what he does, and he's just a great player for the Portland Trail Blazers to pick up again. Nerlens Noel has agreed to a deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, not a huge deal, but Nerlens Noel, a young player, he played a very great season last season, and obviously Oklahoma City want to kind of have that depth coming off the bench again, and I think Nerlens Noel is a great pickup. Now, there was a lot of talk about Julius Randle, where he was going to go, who he was going to sign with, but he has agreed to a 3-year, $63 million deal with the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks has probably had the most disappointing offseason at any team. They went to try to sign Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan back. You know, they're going for everyone, Jimmy Butler, even Kawhi Leonard. But they have picked up instead. They've picked up Julius Randle. I mean, he's a great player. He had a great season last season, but he wasn't who they were originally looking for. Now, the Miami Heat, as of now, are finalizing a sign and trade deal with the 76ers to acquire Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a great player. I know he was expected to sign elsewhere, but it's quite interesting. The Miami Heat weren't really in talks this offseason to sign anyone. Obviously, D Wade retiring, I should say. They want to pick up kind of a great shooting guard, and Jimmy Butler can fill that role. Taj Gibson has agreed to a 2-year, $20 million contract with the New York Knicks. Now, as I said before about Julius Randle, it wasn't who they were expecting to go out and get, but Taj Gibson is a great center, kind of power forward off the bench. Now, Al Horford has agreed to a 4-year, $109 million contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, he is a great kind of inside, kind of more of a retro center in a sense. He can still have that shooting outside, but he is a great inside center and a great pickup for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, as I said in a previous video, the Dallas Mavericks and Kristaps Porzingis were agreeing or going to have an interview to extend his contract, to offer him a new contract, and they have agreed to a 5-year, $158 million contract. Now, Kristaps Porzingis is one of the best, probably, I'm going to say top 5 players in the next 5 years. Oh, actually, probably in 5 years. He's a great kind of stretch 4, stretch 5, depending on where you play him, but he's going to be a great pickup for the Dallas Mavericks. Khris Middleton has signed a 5-year, $178 million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, he's a great piece to sign aside with with Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously a top 5 player at the moment, and Khris Middleton has shown kind of glimpses of greatness this season, obviously being an all-star this season for the first time. He is a great kind of, shooter. He can shoot, but he can also drive as well. He's a great player to pick up for the next 5 years for the Milwaukee Bucks. Jonas Valanciunas has signed a 3-year, $45 million contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, that mid-season trade with him and Marc Gasol from Toronto to Memphis. Now, obviously, he's enjoyed his time at Memphis, and now he wants to continue his career there with a 3-year contract. Ricky Rubio has agreed to a 3-year, $51 million contract with the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Phoenix Suns have been kind of quiet so far. They haven't really done much this offseason, but he's a great talent, kind of great veteran to pick up off the bench for the Phoenix Suns. Garrett Temple has agreed to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. A great kind of guard, kind of forward off the bench for the Brooklyn Nets. They've done a lot this offseason. And the last thing today, or last thing for this video, I'm sure there'll be other videos coming out today, but DeAndre Jordan has agreed to a deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the details aren't certain yet, but they have gone out, they've signed Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, and Garrett Temple, all on this first day of the free agency kind of period. Now, obviously, guys, this won't be the only video for today. I'll definitely make more as more trades occur, and I will probably do rebuilds over the next, or kind of simulations over the next few days in 2K, and I will also do a 2K video because the 2K cover athlete got announced today. It was, sorry, the 2K20 athlete got announced today. It is going to be Anthony Davis, so I will make a video on that. I've got some suspicions, but I will go over that in that video. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Tell me what you thought of all the trades today, all the signings today, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.